Longline fishing for tuna is one of the popular and effective methods of seafood exploitation, especially for fishermen operating in offshore waters, where tuna live in large schools in the midwater and upper water layers. This process requires careful preparation, from the preparation of fishing gear, bait, boats to the technique of dropping and retrieving fishing lines, all of which must be strictly followed to ensure both high yield and the best quality of fish. The main fishing gear in this method is long lines, usually from tens to hundreds of kilometers long, with thousands of hooks attached. Each hook is tied to a branch line with strong fishing line. The bait is usually mackerel, silver pomfret or fresh squid to attract tuna. Before going to sea, fishermen must carefully check the entire fishing line system, ensuring that the hooks are sharp, the branch lines are not tangled or broken, and the positioning buoys work well so that when fishing at sea, they can easily determine the location. When arriving at the fishing ground, the captain will base on experience, current, water temperature and the support of positioning equipment and fish finders to choose the appropriate fishing line drop location. The fishing line is dropped in order. Buoys are arranged at a certain distance to keep the main line from sinking too deep, ensuring that the hook is at the depth where the tuna often moves. Fishing time usually takes place in the late afternoon or at night because this is when the tuna are active and easily attracted to fresh bait. After many hours of waiting, the fishermen begin to pull the fishing line using a hydraulic winch mounted on the ship. The process of pulling the line is very hard, requiring smooth coordination between the crew. Every time they feel a strong pull on the line, they know that the tuna is hooked. At this time, the person pulling the line must be very skillful. Not pulling too fast to avoid the line breaking or the tuna struggling to escape. When the fish is pulled close to the surface of the water, the fishermen use iron hooks or support nets to bring the fish onto the deck. Tuna can weigh from tens to hundreds of kilograms, so controlling and bringing them onto the boat is a real challenge. After catching the fish, immediate processing and preservation is the key to maintaining the commercial value. Tuna are usually gutted, the organs removed, washed with cold seawater and then put in ice-filled storage tanks or deep freezers. Experienced fishermen also have the technique of bleeding and rapid cooling to keep the fish meat fresh red, unbruised, meeting the strict requirements of the international market, especially Japan, which consumes large quantities of tuna for sashimi and sushi dishes. Longline fishing for tuna is not only a profession but also a process of being attached to the sea. Requiring fishermen to be patient, endure hardship and understand the habits of this fish species. On ships in the middle of the vast ocean, fishermen have to face both waves and harsh weather, and have to rely on luck for a good catch. Each trip can last from a few days to a month, depending on the distance of the fishing grounds and the amount of fish. The work is hard, but in return, if the season is good, tuna weighing hundreds of kilograms can bring in great economic value. contributing to the livelihood of the whole family and coastal communities. However, this profession also faces many challenges such as climate change causing tuna to change their migration habits, overexploitation of resources, or strict regulations on the conservation of aquatic resources. Therefore, many modern ships have applied advanced technology. Using fishing lines with light-emitting devices to attract fish. Installing quick freezing machines on board to improve the quality of fish, while complying with international regulations on the number of hooks and fishing areas to develop sustainable fisheries. The profession of catching tuna with long lines is both traditional and contains the progress of modern science and technology. A testament to the resilience and intelligence of fishermen on the path to conquering the ocean, bringing valuable seafood resources to the country. Each longline tuna fishing trip is also a journey that challenges the health and will of the fisherman, because the work not only takes place during the day but also throughout the night. When the fishing line is dropped, the crew must always take turns keeping watch, monitoring the positioning buoy to promptly detect signs of fish biting the hook. There are times when dozens of tuna are hooked almost at the same time, forcing the whole team to coordinate to both retrieve the line. Pull the fish, and preserve it in time. Each crew member has a clear task: the person in charge of operating the winch, the person balancing the line, the person using the iron hook to bring the fish onto the deck, the person in charge of preliminary processing and refrigeration. It is this rhythmic division of labor that helps the work go smoothly, limits risks and increases fishing efficiency. When hooked, ocean tuna often thrash violently, sometimes creating jerks so strong that the main line can break if not handled skillfully. Therefore, the experience and courage of the fishermen are the decisive factors. They have to know when to let loose the line, when to tighten it, how to hold the fish firmly while avoiding damage to the equipment. There are giant tuna weighing more than 200 kilograms. Sometimes it takes 3 to 4 people to coordinate to bring them onto the ship. Once the fish is brought onto the deck, the preservation process takes place almost immediately. Usually, the fish is gutted. The organs are removed to prevent decomposition, then washed with cold seawater to maintain freshness. Next, the fish is placed in a hold with crushed ice or preserved by deep freezing at -40 degrees Celsius, helping the fish meat retain its red color and natural flavor. This is the key step that determines the commercial value of tuna, because just a little carelessness will cause the fish meat to lose its freshness and its value will be seriously reduced. In addition to technical factors, fishermen also have to depend a lot on the weather and ocean currents. On days when the sea is very rough, dropping and retrieving the fishing line becomes extremely dangerous. Big waves can cause fishing lines to get tangled, floats to drift away, or even cause accidents for people working on the deck. Therefore, each trip out to sea always contains dangers, requiring the courage and quick response of the entire crew. In return, the results they achieve are also extremely worthy. A big catch can bring in dozens of tons of tuna, bringing in a significant source of income. Many bluefin tuna, if they meet the quality standards for export to Japan, are worth up to tens of thousands of US dollars, becoming the pride and hope of fishermen's families after many days at sea. Tuna fishing with long lines not only brings economic benefits but also contributes to affirming sovereignty over the sea and islands. Because Vietnamese fishermen in the process of exploitation have gone far offshore, staying in large fishing grounds, and at the same time participating in protecting sacred territorial waters. With perseverance, will and love for the profession, they have kept the fishing profession alive through many generations. Both preserving their ancestors' traditions and adapting to the changes of the times besides the hopeful and successful trips. Longline tuna fishing is also associated with countless difficulties and dangers that only experienced people can understand. First of all, we must mention the weather factor, because the sea is always full of surprises. Tropical storms, low pressure or monsoons can appear suddenly, causing waves up to several meters high, directly threatening the safety of the boat and the lives of fishermen. There are trips where the boat has to struggle for many days in a row in the midst of fierce waves. The fishing line gets tangled, the buoy is swept away, and all the preparation efforts are considered lost. Not only the weather, but also working continuously for many hours also makes fishermen exhausted, staying up all night. Eating irregularly. Working in a humid and dangerous environment causes health to decline rapidly. Many fishermen have to face bone, joint, respiratory or cardiovascular diseases due to the harshness of the job. In addition, the risk of work accidents also occurs frequently. From being hit by fishing lines, slipping on wet decks, to being injured while bringing giant struggling tuna onto the boat. Some serious cases can lead to serious injuries, even death. However, for fishermen, these difficulties have become a familiar part of life, because they always believe that out there at sea is an opportunity to change their lives. Behind the valuable tuna catches is a story of solidarity and team spirit. No fisherman can complete this job alone, but all must rely on the harmonious coordination of the whole group. At sea, they are not only boatmates, but also brothers. Sharing every meal, every quick nap. Encouraging each other to overcome homesickness, anxiety and danger. On calm nights, after dropping the fishing line, fishermen often gather on the side of the boat, drink a cup of tea, watch the stars and talk about their homeland and family. It is these peaceful moments that give them the strength to persevere in the sea, engaging in a profession that many people call eating the wind and waves. In recent years, longline tuna fishing has also been strongly affected by international regulations on the protection of aquatic resources. Fishermen must strictly comply with the number of hooks, the size of fish allowed to be caught, and the fishing area to avoid violations. This means that the output may decrease compared to before. But in return, the fishing industry has the opportunity to develop more sustainably, helping to preserve resources for future generations. Although it is hard, dangerous and challenging, longline tuna fishing still plays an important role in the economic and social life of many coastal areas. It not only brings in a large source of income, promotes exports, but also contributes to building the image of resilient fishermen, sticking to the sea, and being closely attached to the ocean. The constant presence of tuna fishing fleets in distant fishing grounds has contributed to affirming sovereignty over islands and seas, creating national pride from the silent laborers in the middle of the ocean. Longline tuna fishing is not only an economic activity but also has great cultural and spiritual significance for coastal fishing communities. Through many generations, fishing experience and techniques have been passed down from fathers and grandfathers, becoming a part of life, in the memories and even in the pride of those who work in the profession. The image of ships sailing out to sea, carrying hope and faith, has been engraved in the minds of many families living off the sea. Tuna is not only a valuable and nutritious food source, but also a key export product, bringing foreign currency to the country. After being caught, preserved and processed, ocean tuna has appeared on the dining tables of many countries around the world, contributing to enhancing the position of Vietnamese seafood in the international market. Therefore, each successful sea trip not only brings income to fishermen but also contributes to building a national brand, affirming that the hard work and ingenuity of Vietnamese people can completely compete with the world. In addition to economic value, tuna fishing is also associated with the spirit of community solidarity. Each fishing village has a close-knit fleet, supporting each other on each long trip. They share experiences, help each other when encountering problems, rescue at sea, or simply encourage each other during long days at sea. Thanks to that bond, fishermen have enough strength to overcome dangers to continue going to sea. In the long term, tuna fishing with long lines is also facing the need for innovation, applying advanced science and technology to both increase output and protect the marine ecosystem. Modern equipment such as satellite positioning systems, fish finders, and super-fast freezers have helped fishing become more and more efficient, while minimizing losses and improving product quality. The combination of traditional experience and new technology is the way for tuna fishing to exist sustainably, both supporting generations of fishermen and preserving the precious resources of the ocean. It can be said that each ocean tuna not only has material value but also contains the sweat, effort and resilience of the fisherman. Each trip to sea is a testament to human strength in the face of vast nature. Longline tuna fishing is therefore not only a livelihood, but also a symbol of courage, love for the sea, and the desire to rise from the fierce waves to bring back precious resources for the country. Longline tuna fishing in the end, is a blend of arduous labor and faith in the ocean. It not only brings huge economic benefits, creating sustainable livelihoods for tens of thousands of coastal households, but also nurtures a resilient, indomitable spirit of people facing the waves. Each ship leaves the port with the hope of a fruitful trip, and when it returns, it is loaded with sweat, effort and the joy of reunion. It is a symbol of perseverance, of the will to overcome difficulties and of loyalty to the traditional profession. Ocean tuna. From the fresh fish in the ice cellar to the sashimi slices appearing on the luxurious banquet table. All carry within them a long story of the silent sacrifice of fishermen. Therefore, tuna fishing not only contributes to enriching the country but also preserves the soul of marine culture, affirming the position of the Vietnamese people in the vast ocean. It reminds that, no matter how modern the world becomes, the value of honest labor, courage and love for the sea will forever exist with the waves. Tuna fishing with long lines is one of the important and typical seafood exploitation methods of fishermen in offshore areas. This work begins with elaborate preparation before each trip. Fishermen must prepare hundreds of kilometers of fishing line, attach thousands of sharp hooks, along with bait such as mackerel, herring or fresh squid to attract tuna. The selection of fishing grounds is based on the experience accumulated over many generations combined with the support of modern equipment such as GPS. Fish finders and information from previous ships. When the ship has reached a suitable location, fishermen proceed to drop long fishing lines into the sea. Each section of line is attached with bait and floating buoys to mark. Fishing time usually takes place at night or early morning, when tuna are active. While waiting, fishermen always have to observe and check, ready to respond to unexpected changes in wind or weather. When reeling in the line, each strong jerk signals that the tuna has taken the bait. The whole team must coordinate smoothly to control and bring the fish weighing hundreds of kilograms onto the deck. Each time like that is a fierce battle between humans and the fierce fish of the open sea. The preservation stage is carried out immediately. After being brought onto the deck, the fish will be cleaned, washed with cold sea water, then put in ice cellars or deep frozen to keep their freshness. Only fish that are processed quickly and properly meet the standards for export to demanding markets like Japan. Therefore, tuna fishing not only requires strength but also meticulousness and knowledge of seafood preservation. This job is also full of dangers and hardships. Big waves can sweep away fishing lines. Erratic weather can easily cause accidents for boats. Fishermen have to work continuously, stay up many nights, sometimes facing unexpected accidents at sea. But above all, they still cling to the sea, considering it their flesh and blood and source of life. It is their faith and determination that help them persevere in the sea, so that each return trip brings joy and prosperity to their families and the community on board. Discipline and solidarity are top priorities. Each person has their